Yes, I will have college football for you today. Unfortunately, Luke and Alex are not on today. They're refusing to pick up their phones. So it'll just be Mike and I today. We'll start by looking at the Big Ten scoreboard. Rutgers with a big win over Liberty, 44-34. Iowa defeats Northwestern 20-0. Illinois takes down Purdue 24-0. And Indiana with another win over Nebraska, 38-31. Mike, what are your thoughts on these games?
Wasn't expecting Rutgers to win that game, although I probably should have saw it coming the way Liberty's defense has played, giving up 42 points to Maine last week, and the Maine quarterback putting up, a ridiculous stat line. But, I guess, Rutgers is a program. They've got to win that game, and they did it. So I'm sure that the next head coach they hire will take that into account. Northwestern, no offense at all, no talent at all. It's very similar to Michigan State. Defense good. Iowa's offense is still shit. I'm not too, they're not going to go very far. Illinois.
That's ridiculous. That is absurd.
Pretty sure, it was 24-6 Illinois. I meant to put 6, but whatever. Driving rainstorm, tough on Purdue. Illinois, solid win. Illinois, they're getting better as the season goes on. That's good to see. And great win for Indiana. This is a game Tom Allen would have lost in the previous years, but he found a way to win this game. That's a big win for Indiana. And they're still going. I think they'll still go 9-3. I'm still a believer.
What a win for Rutgers. I'm with Mike here. I did not expect them to win this game. Liberty's a good team. Rutgers, that might be the best win in as long as I can remember for Rutgers.
No, they beat Illinois a couple years ago.
No, this is a bigger win.
Oh, okay.
And then let me just get to the last three here. Three teams I love. Iowa. What a win for the Iowa Hawkeyes. What a performance. Very good on the defensive side of the ball and very good offensively. Nate Stanley, really good game here. Really great job by this offense, putting up 20 points on Northwestern's defense. It's not easy to do. So great job by Iowa. Great win. They win the Big Ten. Illinois. Lovie Smith on the sideline, coaching him up. Quarterback, Lovie Smith, doing a great job. Brandon Peters, another solid performance. And, 24 points against what I felt last week, and what I still believe Purdue's vaunted defense is pretty good. And Indiana, Tom Allen. Wow, what a coach. Tom Allen, what a win for Indiana. Peyton Ramsey with a career day for the Hoosiers. That's Mike's guy, Peyton Ramsey. What a win for Indiana. And Nebraska, they're the worst team in the West. They continue to show that.
Well, they beat Illinois, so they're at least better than them.
No, they're not.
Well, they beat them.
Well, transitive property only works when it is applied correctly.
It is applied correctly. It was an away game.
Incorrect. That's incorrect application.
It was an away game under the lights. Totally favored Illinois, and they lost. So
no.
Quarterback was healthy. I mean, there's nothing else I can say.
All right. Michigan blows out Notre Dame 45-14. Are the Wolverines back?
Yes, they are. This was an important win for Jim Harbaugh. This was a game Jim Harbaugh had to have. And I guarantee, if you remember last week, Chris, I guaranteed a Michigan win from Sunday. The Sunday before, after Michigan lost to Penn State, I guaranteed they would win this game for a couple of reasons. Number one, it's impossible to lose on Sunday Night Football 2 straight weeks, especially when you're at home. It was never going to happen. And secondly, Michigan, way better football team. On paper, way better football team. Overall, better coach, better quarterback.
No.
Better coach, better quarterback, better defense, better offensive line. There's nothing. Notre Dame's terrible. They might struggle to make a bowl this year. They're not good.
Have you seen their schedule the rest of the season?
Yeah. Well, listen, I don't care what their schedule is. If they played a real schedule, they'd struggle to make a bowl. Them and Michigan State, that would be a good game. That would be a close game. That's how bad they are. They are not a top 25 team, and
yes, they are.
Certainly not a top 10 team, not even close.
They are a top 10 team.
They suck. Their offense was horrible. Offensive line was terrible. But anyway, back to Michigan. This was an important win for the psyche of Jim Harbaugh. His 2 wins against top 10 teams were very lucky victories, considering this was not a top 10 team that they played. But it was a big win nonetheless for the psyche of Jim Harbaugh and the team. And listen, they've got a pretty, lackluster schedule until Ohio State. They should do pretty well to end the season. I think, the way they played, it was encouraging that they got out to a good start. It was encouraging that they played well and beat a team that they were supposed to beat on national television by a lot of points. That's encouraging to see. So, yeah, they're back. They're back to being a 9-3 football team because I thought they were 6-6. So that's what they're back to being.
I'm still in shock that first of all, they won this football game, and second of all, in the way they did. I mean, this is from the first quarter to the end of the game, a complete performance from Michigan. And it doesn't pay me to say this, but if the Notre Dame didn't decide to jump on that block, this game might have been really different.
No, Notre Dame couldn't move the ball. But it's an embarrassing game when Shea throws like 5 passes the entire night. You know your defense sucks when you try to stop the run and you can't and you try to stop the run because Shea sucks.
Well, a lot of it's the weather. A lot of the game, I think, was the weather.
Oh, the weather, of course. No, the weather played zero.
As Michigan fans, we like to make excuses, and I will make an excuse for Notre Dame. I will give them the excuse of the weather.
Bullshit. The hell's the weather have to do anything? They're playing on turf.
No, the weather.
What does it do?
It's the same reason. It's the same reason why Nick Chubb ran all over the Patriots this weekend. The weather.
Okay.
That's why it's tough to stop the run in the rain.
Is that why Michigan State lost?
Yeah.
Okay.
Ran the ball really well. I was really impressed with that. The defense was unbelievable in this game. I was not expecting that. It did help Don Brown that it was raining. It's tougher to throw the ball. It's tougher running in.
You know what helped Don Brown? Notre Dame has 0 team speed. That's what helped. That's what helped Don Brown.
It was tough for him to throw the ball.
You know what Don Brown does really well? He does really well when he plays teams with 0 speed. And all they have is
they don't have a lot of speed on the outside, but it's tough to throw the ball anyways. For Ian Book, this is the weather. It's the type of game that favors Don Brown. And for that,
Dr. Blitz.
In this weather, that's fine. His play calling was fine, and I know if it was 75 degrees and sunny, he wasn't the same thing though. That's what troubles me. Anyways, Jim Harbaugh. It's about time. Top 10 win. I haven't seen one of those in a few years. It's been a while.
Well, the good thing about this is for the psyche of the team was this wasn't a real top 10 win, but it still counts as a top 10 win, and that's good for the psyche of the team. That's good for Jim Harbaugh. I know he acted like it was the Super Bowl, the way he was celebrating all day long. But no, yeah, Michigan's back to being a 9-3 football team.
Listen, they beat a rival. Fine, they beat a top 10 rival. They have not done that yet. They beat a
rival.
Top 10 rival.
You're telling me Notre Dame's a rival?
Yes.
Fair enough. They're as much as a rival as Penn State is to us, I guess.
No. Notre Dame, they are a top 10 team, I think. They just didn't play very well in this game. That's all right. And, Michigan is now one of 4 teams in FBS who have 2 wins over ranked teams. That's a fun fact.
The 2 ranked teams you played, Michigan State would have beaten. So, you can say all you want, but those are 2 fake teams, phony teams that won't do crap.
A couple other things here. My quarterback, what a performance of my quarterback in this game. Chase Patterson was incredible in this game. Unbelievable. He did a great job. First of all, did a great job managing the game. Didn't turn the ball over. Second of all, he made a huge throw in the third quarter of this game. It was a but it was in the second quarter, third quarter. Notre Dame had cut it to.
Was that the only? I'm pretty sure that was the only throw he made all night.
I believe it was 17-7. Notre Dame had cut it to, and off his back foot, rolling to his right, he threw one into the end zone for a touchdown. It was one of the best throws I've seen him make, and a very, very clutch throw for this team that they needed. So my quarterback, what a performance from Shea Patterson. And looking ahead at the schedule, if they win the games they're supposed to here against Maryland, MSU, and Indiana, if they win those games they're supposed to win, then that will be a top 10 matchup between Ohio State and Michigan the last week of the season.
Okay. Do you understand the score of that game? Do you understand what the score of that game is going to be?
Yeah, it's going to be a lot to a little.
Yep. So it doesn't matter what you're ranked, because if you're ranked higher, then it's just going to go as another terrible loss.
I'm just saying. If that's a top 10 matchup, that's a great thing for college football. To have a top 10 Ohio State Michigan matchup, and I think that's going to happen.
Chris, listen, I'm very happy for you. As a Michigan State fan, I'm happy for Michigan. Very happy that they were able to finally beat a top 10 team, even though it wasn't really. I was sitting in the Buffalo Wild Wings in Lansing. There were a lot of Michigan fans there. Very happy for all of them. So we all support the same pro teams. A lot of Lions, a lot of Pistons. So it's happy to see. I'm happy to see that Michigan actually did something. Very happy for them. Because really, the only sport they have is football. The rest of their sports are kind of garbage. So for them to actually do something in football, it's good for them.
All right. How about their soccer team just beating Michigan State?
Oh, well, that's not a sport.
Oh, right. Okay. All right. Ohio State takes care of business against Wisconsin, 38-7. Reaction?
I was not shocked, and I was shocked at the same time. I was telling my uncle, we were talking about this game. I think it was like maybe 3-0 in the second quarter, and I told him, like, listen, Ohio State, they feel their opponent out in the first quarter, and in the second quarter they blitz you, and that's exactly what they did to Wisconsin. That the offensive line that Ohio State has is the most dominant force I've ever seen in college football, ever. That offensive line the holes that the running backs get are unbelievable. Against the Wisconsin defense that was number one against the run in the country. And I know they got a little bit exposed against Illinois, but they played very well in that game until the last couple of minutes. It was their offense that really gave that game away. But the holes are just wide open, and then when Justin Fields wants to, he can just take off on himself and go. And not to mention Ohio State has the top 3 defense in the country. This is one of the best teams I've ever seen in college football history. And, Alabama a couple years ago didn't play any good teams. Ohio State has played a bunch of good teams so far.
They played one good team.
No, they played 4 or 5 very good teams.
Okay.
Cincinnati, very good team, blew the doors off.
Oh yeah.
Listen, Chris, you could say all you want about Cincinnati, but they're a top 25 team and they shut them out 49-0. So, Michigan State not a great team, but that's a rivalry game, so that's a good win. Nebraska Saturday Night Football, great win there. In Lincoln, tough place to win there. And Wisconsin, I mean, a lot of people thought this game would be close.
Can't forget about Indiana, Mike.
It wasn't. Oh, Indiana! How could I forget about Indiana? What was it, like 51-10? I mean,
I picked Indiana in that game.
Yeah, you did. And Ohio State's on a record-setting pace. I don't know. I don't think anybody's going to give them a game until the college football playoff. And even then, I think they'll cruise through the playoff. I think this is a team of destiny. They're going to win the national championship. And they're going to win it next year, too, because they return a lot of production from this team. It's unbelievable.
listen, this is a good win for Ohio State. Obviously, like, you love to see what they're doing running the football. The defense is playing well and everything, but I got to see them play a better team. Wisconsin's good.
Well,
they're a good football team.
Chris, Michigan played the same team and got blown out. Same with Michigan State.
I know. But the two best teams Ohio State's going to play, they're still left in their schedule, and I'd like to see what happens when they play them. And I'm going with...
No, Wisconsin's better than Penn State. Way better.
Okay.
No, they are. They are way better. I'm telling you right now. And they're better than Michigan, too, because they beat the doors off them. Michigan found a football team in the second half at State College, and they're different now. Yeah, well, they got blown out against Wisconsin, so I can still use that.
Well, I'm withholding judgment on this team until they play an elite team. And they're going to play an elite team. They play Penn State, and they're going to play a very good team.
So you're the one who has LSU in your as number one team, right? And you use the Texas win as an elite win. Well, Texas sucks, so that win doesn't mean shit.
Fine.
Okay. But who have they beaten?
Auburn.
They've beaten Auburn. Auburn doesn't have an offense. They suck. They're like Michigan State.
Really, really good.
No,
and they beat Florida.
Who would win? Wisconsin would destroy Auburn if they played.
They also beat Florida.
Florida, better, but I could argue Indiana's better than Florida. I mean, Ohio State.
Okay, all right. That's enough. We're moving on. All right, Penn State gets the job done against the Michigan State Spartans. Mike, what happened?
Oh, a lot of things happened. I thought this game was going to be close. I didn't think Penn State was that good. I still don't think they're great. But this was the typical Mark D'Antonio game this year, over the past couple of years, where he's really, really struggled on the offensive end to figure out what to do. I thought maybe coming off a bye they would come up with something new, but it was much of the same. And listen, I went to this game. I sat in the goddamn rain all freaking day for this. And like Chris said, if Notre Dame recovered that punt and didn't freaking touch it like a bunch of idiots, the game might have been different. Well, when Hamler fumbled the opening kickoff and if we recovered that, it could have been different. If our cornerback knew how to play a football on that first touchdown, it would have been different. But it wasn't. And I got to start with Michigan State offense. It's a veil. It's a veil of a spread offense, but it's the same thing that we've seen the past 8 to 10 years under Mark D'Antonio. I mean, you can't run a pass route when you have two guys going out for a pass. What the hell are you expecting? Do you expect somebody to get open when you're running a bunch formation out of the pistol and having two guys run out for a pass? I mean, what the hell are we running? Not to mention Penn State presses all our receivers because we have no team speed. So they aren't afraid of us going over the top. Not to mention we never try to go over the top. So all the defenses do is just collapse on the run, and collapse on the short pass, and there's nothing there. Listen, I think James Franklin's a questionable coach, but he's got his scheme right. What Penn State does every play, they spread you out with 5 wide receivers and, a running back. 4 wide receivers and a running back. And they spread you out, and they can do whatever they want, because when you spread a team out, it can be a deodorant for the problems you have on offense, because then, all of a sudden you got a wide open slant. We don't do that. We don't spread the ball out. What we do is we run these stupid bunch formations, even on third downs. I mean, what the hell are we doing? Listen, I don't care how bad your wide receivers are. I don't care how little speed you have. You have to be able to win the battle at the line of scrimmage, and our wide receivers can't do it, and they're not getting any help from the offensive coordinator at all. And I didn't think the play calling made sense, like play by play either. We ran the ball way too much. I mean, when you're down 28-0, why the hell we got to run the ball on first down every time? But yeah, I mean, Penn State knows what they are. They can spread you out. When you spread a team out, it opens up run lanes. And it opens up the passing game also. And they do that pretty well also. I didn't think James Franklin called a very good game. We had a chance to come back because Penn State kept throwing it in a driving rainstorm. It reminded me of Jim Harbaugh. I don't know why they just didn't run the clock out, but whatever. James Franklin's lucky this thing didn't get to a two-possession game because they might have choked this game away if it did, but luckily for them, our offense is just not good enough, and they ended up winning. So, Penn State, they've had a stupidly easy schedule so far. They've played nobody. So we'll see what happens when they actually play a real team like Minnesota coming up.
I was a little surprised. I thought Michigan State would put up a better fight. I picked Michigan State in this game. I thought Penn State would be, hanging a little bit after the last couple of weeks. But this Penn State team is really, really good. There's a scenario where the college football playoff could be 2 Big Ten and 2 SEC teams.
No.
It doesn't really matter what happens. It doesn't really matter what happens in either of them. The Ohio State-Penn State game, the winner of that game, if they win the Big Ten, and the loser of that game if they're 11-1, and the same thing with LSU and Alabama. If a couple things work out, or maybe if Oklahoma loses one more time, or if Oregon or Utah both have 2 losses, if Clemson finds a way to lose, then that would happen. But it's still a long shot. But Penn State is really, really good. And they have an opportunity here. Even if they lose to Ohio State still has Michigan on their schedule. If Michigan were to somehow win that game, Penn State would have the opportunity possibly to be for a Big Ten championship. Clifford's really surprised me. I didn't think much of him coming into the season. But he honestly is a sleeper Heisman candidate the way he's been playing. He has 21 touchdowns.
We're moving on.
No, listen. This is an actual argument. He has 21 touchdowns and 2 interceptions.
He's a game manager. Come on.
No.
Give me a break.
No.
Give me a freaking break.
Good. This guy is good. Now, obviously, they have liability coach. James Franklin's terrible.
Okay.
Really good.
Give Lewerke those weapons. He'd have the same stats. I mean, give me a freaking break.
No. Michigan State, they suck. There's not really much else to say. Their offense sucks. Their defense sucks. The coaching sucks. It's terrible. They're a terrible football team. They'll be lucky to make a bowl. All right. Will this be Mark D'Antonio's last year at Michigan State?
Yes. And it's not gonna be the pretty ending that everybody envisioned coming into this season. I wouldn't be shocked. We're gonna lose probably to Illinois. We're probably gonna lose to Michigan. It's gonna come down to those last 2 games of the year. If we win those 2 games, we make a bowl. If we lose one of those 2 games, we don't make a bowl. I think Maryland's complete garbage, so that game can go either way. And I think we have, we've had Maryland's number before. I think this team will end up 6-6 and probably lose the bowl game, whether that's the Quick Lane Bowl or whatever the hell, Music City or the Yankee Stadium one, or the hell that's called. And I think he knows that it's his last year. You can see it on his face. He doesn't look too good either, at the press conferences, bags under his eyes. Looks like the stress is getting to him. I wouldn't be shocked if he just said, I'm done after the year. And right now it's more than a 50-50 proposition. Especially if they get blown out by Michigan, which is a complete, it's possible if they get blown out by Michigan. But the one thing I want to see him do is say before the year's over, this is my last year, and give the athletic administration a chance to go out and try to look for a coach. A guy, a couple guys I want, I think Pat Narduzzi would do a great job. He understands the program, and he's not afraid to make changes. He's done it before at Pittsburgh. He had Matt Canada. He's had a bunch of different offensive coordinators there. We can go and try and get PJ Fleck. It is an improvement to Michigan State over Minnesota, just because Minnesota is in a pro sports town and they don't really care about Minnesota football, and they never will. So I think there's a good chance he could want to come here, and he's got ties to Michigan. Luke Fickell's the guy. I'm not too high on Luke Fickell. To me, he would be a walking meme if he came to Michigan State. That's not something I want, but there are some guys who are out of the box, like the Memphis coach. He's a guy many people are speculating on. The UCF coach, I don't see that happening. Some guys, some NFL guy maybe. I mean, there are some possibilities. If this job went up, it would be, I would think it would be Pat Narduzzi's job to lose. I don't see anybody else really taking that from him. Matt Campbell, right. Unless you go out and get Matt Campbell. What?
Right. What about Jason Garrett? You can get him.
No, you need somebody with college experience.
And what happened to your guy from Oklahoma whose defense got torched this weekend?
I still like him. I like his recruiting ties with Ohio. I think he would get some good. That's another. We need recruiting. You just look. There's no talent on the offensive side of the football, and that comes down to a couple bad recruiting years, and just the lack of talent that we have at the wide receiver position, lack of talent we have at the O-line, quarterback. Every position on the offense is not talented, and they have to find a way to get the recruiting lines back up. And D'Antonio had a time where he recruited very well. Those times have passed. A guy like Alex Grinch would be a good recruiter, and a guy like Matt Campbell would be a good recruiter as well. PJ Fleck would be a great recruiter. I would love PJ Fleck because he had some great recruiting years at Western Michigan. That's my dream candidate is PJ Fleck. But I think Pat Narduzzi's shown he can build an O-line. He always has good O-lines at Pittsburgh. So hopefully he could, come in here and build an O-line and whatever. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, I'm going to say no to this. I don't think Mark D'Antonio is going anywhere. Mike says, you can see it on his face, whatever. But there haven't really been any signs that this is going to be it for Mark D'Antonio.
Are you kidding me?
It's kind of out of the blue.
What are you talking about?
No, this is out of the blue.
Oh, it's out of the blue.
Yeah, other than the fact that you want him gone, this is out of the blue.
Oh, I'm not the only one who wants him gone. Trust me. Chris, you should have seen all the fans at the game. How negative they were about him. It was interesting to see. All the fans.
He's never going to get fired. That's not going to happen.
No, he will never get fired. He'll be on his terms. You're right.
I don't think he's going to retire. But if he were to retire, Michigan State should go after Les Miles. That should be their top candidate.
Les Miles. No.
Why? No. Why not?
Listen, if we're going to get some former college legends, the one guy I would look at is Bob Stoops. I mean, that's another guy who's out of the blue. I mean, he's got Ohio ties also.
Urban Meyer, Mike.
Well, no, I think like Bob Stoops, I wouldn't be, that's a guy you have to at least give a call to because he probably wants to come back and coach again. And Michigan State's, the expectations aren't too high there. And, he would be the best coach in that state and he would get recruiting lines back up. My gosh, that would be the dream hire for me. That would be amazing.
I don't see why not with Les Miles. That'd be good for him.
No, he's fine. I wouldn't mind Les Miles either. But
Pat Narduzzi, obviously.
I love me some Pat Narduzzi. If he stays at Pitt, I'll still love him. One of the best coaches out there.
Yeah, but, other than that, it's kind of a dead topic. I don't think it's going to happen. So I don't really have much to say about that.
Maybe Steve Adazio.
Okay. All right. Kansas State shocked Oklahoma, and Texas falls TCU. What does this mean for the Big 12 and their college football playoff chances?
It's below 20% now. And
give me a break.
What? No.
Give me a break.
Well, listen. There was always something up with Oklahoma. I thought their defense was improved. I thought, watching them all year long, their offense has limitations, and the limitations come with Jalen Hurts. He's not a great thrower. He's not a great thrower of the football. He's not, and he got exposed against Kansas State's defense. Kansas State played really well on defense until the last 10 minutes of the game, where they kind of fell apart a little bit. And if they recovered that onside kick, they probably would have won. But I mean, you can't do that. I mean, Oklahoma can't lose this game, and their offense didn't look very good at all. They have limitations offensively. Their defense, once again, they saw if Oklahoma's defense is not motivated to play somebody, they will lose. This reminds me of Ohio State's defense last year. They have these incredible swings of being great one week and then completely sucking the next week. I mean, it's really unbelievable. Well, back to what I was saying. Listen, Oklahoma has limitations offensively. Their defense has incredible swings. And I think they're done. I don't see a way for them to recover. Yeah, as good as the coach as Lincoln Riley is, I think they're going to lose some more games. They're going to lose to Baylor. And speaking of Baylor, that is the Big 12's last chance to the playoff, is the Baylor Bears. The Baylor Bears are the best team in that conference. They have the best defense, the best offense, and the best coach. And it's incredible the job Matt Rule's done there. Listen, Baylor is going to be a tough out. And they play Texas and Oklahoma at home in a back-to-back.
And they're going to lose both of those games.
And they are going to win both of those games. And listen, even if they lose one of those games, they will make it to the Big 12 championship game, and then they will beat whoever they play in the Big 12 championship game.
And Mike, if they're undefeated, they make the playoff.
Yep.
Really? I thought you would have like 6 undefeated teams in front of them.
Well, some teams are falling, so they are moving up steadily and steadily. Another team in Texas, SMU, will have a shot at the playoff as well. But I think Baylor has a better chance than them. Texas sucks. Sam Ehlinger was terrible. Another team lost to Iowa State, another ranked team that fell to Oklahoma State. I saw that one coming. Oklahoma State, they're so young. They are on the come up, and when they want to play you, they will play tough. And the most impressive win in the Big 12 this year is Baylor's win over Oklahoma State last week. That win, that's going to be completely undervalued, but the way Baylor dominated that game is unbelievable. Baylor is the best team in the Big 12. They will win the Big 12, and they will be in the conversation for the college football playoff.
Okay, no. I'll start with Texas. Yeah, they suck. I don't know what's going on with Sam Ehlinger and what's going on with that.
They're back.
Yeah, they're back. I don't know. I don't know what to say about that, but Oklahoma, they can still control their own destiny. Let's make that clear.
Okay, they do. They might control their own destiny if every undefeated team's unless every undefeated team doesn't lose. Then they don't control their own destiny.
Well, they're 11-1 Big 12 Conference champion. They get into the playoff.
No.
Because we know either Alabama or LSU's going to have a loss. We know Penn State or Ohio State's going to have a loss.
You can't lose to Kansas State. You can't do it.
Mike, this is what we've been talking about all year. And you continue to say, no team will ever lose to a mediocre team. It will never happen. This is what happens.
It won't happen again all year long.
Oh, yeah, this is what happens. These good teams, they lose to decent teams. It happens. It happens to the best teams. It happens every year.
Well, guess who it won't happen to? It won't happen to the Baylor Bears.
Baylor is going to lose to Oklahoma and Texas. Oklahoma is going to win this conference.
No.
They're going to beat Baylor twice.
No. Baylor's better. Baylor is the better football team.
Texas is still going to make the Big 12 championship game. They're going to beat Texas.
You're telling me Texas. Okay, let's calm down.
Texas is going to win out.
Let's calm down.
Oklahoma is going to win this conference. They're going to make the playoffs. Yeah. They're going to make the playoffs.
No, it's over. Big 12's chances are pretty much over.
How is it over, Mike? The rest of their year, they should win all the rest of their games. They should make the playoffs.
Because you can't tell me a one-loss Oklahoma has a better resume than an LSU. You can't, even if LSU loses to Bama. Or if Bama loses to LSU.
Fine.
That's two teams right there. And then you got Clemson, who's not going to lose. Clemson is going to go undefeated, and Ohio State's going to go undefeated. That's 4 teams. Oklahoma doesn't have a shot. Plus, they're going to lose to Baylor anyway, so it doesn't matter.
No. Okay.
And then you got no. You got at least you're going to have a one-loss conference champion out of the Pac-12. Probably going to be Oregon. It could be Utah. Either of those teams has a better argument.
No. Okay, Mike.
Oregon definitely does, and Utah might.
No. First of all, what's the fit? Ohio State's losing to Iowa, so Oklahoma's going to get in.
Okay, let's move on.
Fair enough.
So you're telling me the best team in college football history is going to lose to Iowa?
Yeah, you're going to lose to Iowa.
All right.
Actually, okay. All right.
What about Texas A&M?
All right. No, let's move on. All right. Let's go to the Big Four football rankings. Texas, Iowa State, and Arizona State dropped out this week. Teams receiving votes: San Diego State, TCU, Oklahoma State, Indiana, Texas A&M, who I thought pretty high. I thought they were going to make it.
Well, we had so many teams high that they just didn't quite get in.
Texas A&M and Texas.
Texas A&M and Texas were actually tied, but they were out.
You decided to put Texas in front because you don't like Texas A&M, right?
Well, Texas is better, so.
Oh, of course. Okay. All right, number 25 is Navy. I don't know how that's possible, but they're somehow.
Because me and Luke had them ranked.
Yeah, of course. Boise State at 24. They suck. They should not be ranked.
No, they're good. Good football team.
Memphis at 23. Iowa up at 22. Wake Forest 21. Kansas State jumps into the rankings at number 20. Cincinnati moves up to 19. App State moves up to 18. Notre Dame drops all the way down to number 17.
Listen, it's ridiculous Notre Dame's ranked this high. They are nowhere close to number 17. They are not a top 25 team. They are not a top 35 team, let alone a freaking top 20 team. Give me a freaking break.
Hold on, Mike. We haven't gotten to Michigan State
yet. Oh, yeah,
Michigan
State might be in here.
Yeah. SMU at 16. Wisconsin moves up to 15. Michigan up 9 spots to number 14. Minnesota stays at 13. Georgia up to 12. Baylor at 11. Oklahoma down to 10. Utah up to 9. Auburn 8. Oregon 7. Florida 6. Clemson 5. Penn State, Alabama, Ohio State, and LSU. Finish out the top 4. Reactions to these rankings.
We didn't get, first of all, a disclaimer. We didn't get a ranking from Alex. We used the AP poll. I mean, there's no difference anyway. I just have to say that. But yeah, I mean, the top 10's a little weird. Penn State number 4, I don't think so. I think Clemson's better than Penn State. Florida number 6, interesting there. I think that's an interesting ranking. The one real big discrepancy is Georgia being at 12, the AP poll item at number 8. Georgia, they had a couple of bad game stretch. We'll get to the Florida-Georgia game in just a second, but little disclaimer, I like Georgia in that game, but because they have the coaching advantage. No, they
don't. Absolutely not.
Well, like I said, Notre Dame doesn't deserve to be in there. Not a chance. I thought Indiana deserved to be in here. I don't know how they're not in. I mean, it doesn't make they're better than Iowa. I don't know how Iowa's in and they're not. Doesn't make much sense to me. Wake Forest moved down, even though they won, or they didn't play. I can't remember. And Wisconsin, how about getting blown out by 38 and moving up a spot? That's how great the rankings are this week.
All right, so some teams that are too high. Navy, Boise State, Memphis, Cincinnati, Appalachian State, and SMU. So all the group of 5 teams, way too high. All terrible.
Listen, Chris, SMU's going to have a shot at the playoff.
No. Wisconsin moving up, that's curious, interesting. Georgia's a little too low. The rest of it is actually pretty accurate, though. I like this ranking for the most part. So pretty good. Although Texas A&M should be ranked.
Yeah, well, you're just going to keep moving them up to try to get them in the rankings.
That's right. As long as they keep winning, they're going to keep moving up. All right, let's move on. Who's going to win the Heisman?
It's a very close race. My vote has got to go to Anthony Gordon, just the gaudy stat lines he's putting up. I don't care about Joe Burrow. I don't care what he's doing. Give me Anthony Gordon. Give me Anthony Gordon.
Who's your real pick?
No, I'm dead serious. He's lapping the competition in passing yards. He's 70% completion. What has he got? 35 touchdowns. I don't see anybody. He's better. He has better stats than Gardner Minshew last year. Give me Anthony Gordon. He's my Heisman winner this year.
Okay.
Listen, if RG3 can win the Heisman with an 8-14, I'm pretty sure Anthony Gordon can win it too.
Right now, if the Heisman was decided right now, it would go to Joe Burrow. But he has to play some tough teams here coming up. He's got to play. He's got to play Alabama. He's got to play Texas A&M. Listen, they have a tough schedule coming up. And look at Tua. They also have a tough schedule coming up. They have to play LSU. They have to play Auburn. These are tough games. And I look at Jalen Hurts, and his team has a better schedule coming up. I think he's going to lead his team to the Big 12 championship. I'm going to go with Jalen Hurts.
Jalen Hurts.
Yep.
He's not that good. He's very overrated. He can't throw a football. Classic example of a running quarterback that can't throw.
Okay, great. Mike, the question is who will win the Heisman, not who do I think should win the Heisman.
Well, who will win the Heisman? Okay, fair enough. Okay. That's a fair enough question. You caught me there. There are a couple of people I think will have a shot. Got to give Chuba Hubbard some love. He'll definitely be in New York. He's destroying every other running back.
You were a year early on the Oklahoma State running back.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, you are correct on that, and I had the wrong guy, but, whatever. Listen, if I was voting for the Heisman, Anthony Gordon would be my first, but Chase Young would definitely be in the top 3, J.K. Dobbins, and Justin Fields. I'd have 3 Ohio State players in my top 5, and Chuba Hubbard. But I wouldn't even have Joe Burrow in my top 5. I'd have Joe Burrow number 6 probably. But who will win the Heisman? It's going to be Joe Burrow. Although it's going to be between Tua and Joe Burrow because Jalen Hurts played like crap last weekend. So
that looked nice.
I'm gonna give it to Joe Burrow just because he's a very good quarterback and he's really breaking out. And Tua might catch him, but I think he's going to win it.
All right, let's move on to the picks. Alex and Mike tied for first place. Embarrassingly for Alex, 8-9. Embarrassingly for Luke, 7-10. I was 10-7. I'm creeping up. Watch out. I'm coming.
Well, this is like the first time in 4 weeks you've moved up from 12 games back. So.
Yes, I'm creeping up. All right, Michigan at Maryland.
As you can see, they have the Michigan man calling this game.
Yes, the Michigan man, Brian Grease.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's biased. It's really going to influence the outcome of this football game. Michigan is going to win. Oh, by the way, who's number 80 with no last name?
Well, the nameplate probably came off. It's been coming off Nico or Jonathan Peoples-Jones jersey.
Yeah. Really good jerseys that Michigan gets. Solid jerseys. But no, Maryland just terrible. They can't throw it. They struggle to run it. They got blown out by Minnesota a couple weeks ago. Or was it last week? I can't even remember. Whatever. They're gonna lose by 1 million. I got Michigan by 50.
I'm gonna go with Michigan in this game. This is a tough game though. Coming off a tough game against Notre Dame last week, and this is a couple weeks before the next game against rival Michigan State. It's a trap game. It's going to be closer than a lot of people think, but Michigan will pull away and win this game. Okay. Nebraska at Purdue.
Great to see Tim Brando calling a big Fox noon game this week.
Yeah.
No, I mean, this is such a weird game. I mean, Purdue played like garbage against Illinois. It wasn't a driving rainstorm. Purdue is so up and down. They played well against, bad teams. They destroyed Maryland, who's really bad. So I got to go with Nebraska in this game. I think they're the better football team.
How about Big Noon getting a game that might feature two non-bowl teams?
Okay.
It's not a good look. But I'm going with Purdue because Nebraska is an absolute joke. They're a disgrace. They're the worst team in the West.
All right, then.
All right, Boston College at Syracuse.
Yeah, give me Boston College. This game's only a 3. I believe Syracuse is favored by 3 points, which is disgraceful because Syracuse is an abomination of a football team. They are complete and utter garbage. Give me Boston College in a blowout.
Yeah, I'm going to take BC too in a close game. Carrier Dome's a really tough place to play, so it's going to be close.
No, they don't care about football there.
Yes, they do. I'm taking BC. All right, Miami at Florida State. Big rivalry game.
Yeah, this is an easy one for me. Florida State's going to blow them out. I really like what Florida State's been doing. Listen, Florida. Everybody's like, oh, Florida State. Oh, they're a meme. They suck. Their coach sucks. No, their coach doesn't suck. He's a good coach. He's just had, he had to rebuild the embers of a just terrible program that Jimbo left him. And Florida State's finally starting to beat the teams they're supposed to beat. And they are a better football team. It doesn't matter who starts at quarterback. It could be Hornibrook. It could be Blackman. It doesn't matter to me. I like Florida State.
Yeah, I like Florida State too. Although this is a rivalry game, anything can happen. But Miami's coming off an emotional win against Pittsburgh. That was a big upset.
They still
so
so bad. Miami's so bad. It's like not even funny.
They did beat Pat Narduzzi last week.
well, Pat's he doesn't have much talent, so I give him a pass on that one.
Florida and Georgia.
Yeah, like I said before, I like Georgia in this game. I think Florida's good; they're solid, but listen, I think Georgia. Everybody's been talking about how they haven't shown up the past couple of games. I believe both teams are coming off a bye. I'm pretty sure, but listen, Georgia's got more talent. And, Florida's good on defense, but I think Georgia's going to expose them. I got Georgia by like 14, 15, 16, 17 points. Give me Georgia.
This is going to be a great game, I like to say. I was originally going to pick Georgia. I look at them, and first of all, their coach is terrible. Second of all...
Well, he's better than Mullen. He is terrible, but he's better than Mullen.
They didn't play well against Kentucky. They didn't play well against South Carolina. And after what I saw of Michigan, what they did at Notre Dame this weekend, and Georgia only won that game by 7 points, I'm questioning if Georgia is that good. And I know Florida is that good because they competed with LSU. They beat Auburn. They've won big games. And I gotta take Florida in this game. Give me the Gators. All right. Kansas State at Kansas.
Oh, this is my upset of the week. I like Les Miles and the Jayhawks. Kansas State coming off a emotional win against Oklahoma. And Kansas has been playing their asses off lately with a very close game against Texas. They have the best Stanley in the country, so give me Kansas.
Okay. Yeah, you could say this upset, but Kansas is so bad. Let's just say this. Kansas's upset over Texas Tech was bigger than Kansas State's upset over Oklahoma.
Kansas is playing well this year.
No, Kansas is coming off a more emotional win, so I'm going to take Kansas State.
All right.
TCU at Oklahoma State.
No, Oklahoma State, this is a tough game for them. because listen, they're a young team and they're very emotional. There could be some swings. I'm gonna take Oklahoma State. I think it's gonna be a close game though. I like what TCU did against Texas, so give me Oklahoma State.
Two teams coming off of big wins for their programs, but I'm going to take Oklahoma State. They're at home, and I think a young team like that will be better at home. For the Cowboys.
Well, they've been better on the road, so.
Well, I think it's going to change this week. All right, Utah at Washington.
Oh, this is a very, very interesting game. It could really go either way. I don't trust Utah, though. I think Oregon's going to win the Pac-12. I don't think Utah's going to put up much of a fight, to be honest with you. I don't trust their quarterback. Their defense is good, but it comes down to quarterback. And Washington's got a very good quarterback. I'm going to take Washington.
I'm taking Utah in this game. I thought Washington could get the job done against the good teams, and they played Oregon, who, if they're going to play at home against a team in the Pac-12, and they want to get big wins, they got to be teams like Oregon if that's going to happen. They couldn't do it.
Well,
and I think Utah's better than Oregon.
No, Oregon's better than Utah. Not even close.
No,
not even close. This is Chris Peterson. This is the type of game he wins. He didn't win against Oregon, but they put up a good fight. I think Washington's going to win this game easily, 50, 60 points.
Okay. Northwestern at Indiana.
Ooh. No, we had to put this game on here because it's a Big Ten game. Listen, Indiana's defense is lackluster. So Northwestern, but I think Northwestern might be able to move the football a little bit. I think Penix will be good to go, though, so I'm going to take Indiana.
Indiana in a blowout. Northwestern sucks. All right, Virginia at North Carolina.
Yeah, Virginia coming off a terrible loss. Give me North Carolina.
I'm taking North Carolina, too. They get a big win on that jump throw against Duke. And I trust Mac Brown in big games. He's going to get the job done. This is a huge game for the ACC Coastal.
No, not a big game.
Yes, it is. It's a huge game. Any team could win that. Division.
Well, there's going to be a tie at 4-4.
Of course. Yes, and there will be a tie in all the basketball conferences, too.
Yes.
Okay. SMU at Memphis, Saturday Night Football.
And college game day as well. Listen, I like SMU. Memphis struggled against Temple a couple weeks ago. I really like SMU a lot. I like Shane Buechele. It's a shame that Texas got rid of him because he's ended up being the better quarterback. So I'm going to take SMU.
I'm going to take Memphis in this game. SMU has become the Group of 5 team that I need to root against every week. That's become the team this year, so I'm going to take Memphis. And Memphis is more established. They're usually pretty good each year. And, SMU is on a little bit of a high right now. I don't expect them to be ready for this game. Memphis crowd.
No, you're telling me they won't be ready for Saturday Night Football?
No, I think Memphis is going to win this game in a blowout.
Okay.
A blowout. It's not even going to be close. All right. Oregon at Southern California.
Yep. With a win here, Oregon would wrap up Oklahoma's chances of making the playoff. Because if they win this game, they're winning the Pac-12. Although Oregon State might give them a run for their money, but listen, USC's they're all right, but they play up to competition. I think Oregon's just good enough to win this game. But I wouldn't be shocked if they lost, but I'm going to take Oregon.
I'm gonna continue to pick against Oregon every single week for the rest of the year because I know the choke is coming. It's coming at some point.
Okay. You're telling me you're gonna pick Oregon State in the Civil War game.
Yes. If they're 10-1 going into that game, give me Oregon State. But that's not gonna happen. So taking USC this week. USC beat Utah at home, and they can beat Oregon at home. The Oregon choke is coming, and if it's at the very last second, there's no way they win the Pac-12 because it's either going to be Utah's going to beat them in the Pac-12 championship game if they get there, and they're 11-1.
Well, the Utah choke is going to come too.
No, the Oregon choke. It's upon us. It's got to be upon us here at some point. So I'm taking USC.
Well, Chris, I was like you last year when you were denying the West Virginia choke.
Yeah, that's what you're doing.
No, it's different.
Okay, all right. Colorado at UCLA.
Great to see Yogi Ruth on this game. Very interesting because this is a true fact. This is Babe Ruth's great grandson, and his father named him Yogi. Very interesting. Ted Robinson also. What a crew on this game. Pac-12 really puts on the best crews. Just have to say that. But, yeah, I really like what Jim Kelly's doing. He might win the Coach of the Year. Give me UCLA.
No. UCLA, coming off that win against Arizona State, there's no way they get up for this game. I'm taking Colorado, even though they're in the midst of their fall. I'm still taking Colorado.
The Colorado choke last half the season.
Yeah, it does. Okay. BYU at Utah State is the last game.
Well, Jason Benetti's on the call, so you know it's going to be a big game when he's on the call.
The game is going to be ruined because he's on the call.
No, he definitely did not ruin the Michigan State game.
Yeah, Michigan. You know why Michigan State's wins are invalid against Michigan this year? Because they had two of the worst announcers in all of sports.
So you're telling me the game with Jim Nantz doesn't count?
Well, I'll tell you what the regular season games.
No, they do count because Spiro Diaz is top notch.
No.
Top notch.
No, I'm telling you, if Jim Nantz and Dan Schulman were announcing those games, Michigan would have won.
Okay, no, they wouldn't have won. It definitely would have been different. Listen, these are two big rivals. Not as big as the the Holy War. It's not as big as the Jihad, but it is very, very big rivalry game. Taysom Hill, this is a game where I believe he got injured 3 times in this game, and he was the BYU quarterback. So, because of that, I got to go with my guy, Gary Anderson, who I just realized a couple days ago was the head coach of Utah State again. And my quarterback, Jordan Love. Give me Utah State.
Yeah, I'm going to take BYU because they're considered to be a Power 5 team and Utah State is not.
Fair enough.
Okay. Anything else other than Michigan sucks?
Michigan fucking sucks.
Okay. Okay. Well, that's going to do it. Hopefully we have a full crew next week.
Don't count on it. Oh, the hockey podcast. The hockey podcast is uploading right now, by the way.
Yes, that was a great recording yesterday we did with that. Really, really solid. All right, that's going to do it. Thank you for watching.